Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Thrive, Not Just Survive. I'm your host, Nasira Jamal. I am so excited to be here. Of course, I have the privilege every morning to interview some amazing women that are doing some amazing things out in the world. And today is no different. I am so happy to bring on this guest because she actually does things a little bit differently. And I find that as we are navigating as entrepreneurs through this time of COVID, and there's so many things coming up with my own clients, people bringing in challenges that before didn't exist for them. And now it's like they have to find a new way of navigating the world. And today's guest is going to walk us through that. She is an amazing, empowering woman that leads from her heart. So let's bring Sara on and get this conversation started. Hi, Sara. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me.
Thank you, Nasir. I'm really, really honored and grateful.
Awesome. So before we really dive into your zone of genius, which I love doing because I think there's so much nuggets that you can offer people that are watching, entrepreneurs particularly, tell us a little bit about your life story. Like, how did you get to doing what you're doing?
Thank you so much for asking. It's always a pleasure to dive in and talk a little bit about your history and, where you come from. So I'm the youngest of 7. And that were born in 10 years. So I always say that first so that you get an idea. You can only imagine being the youngest with 7 kids, running around. And so what I learned very early was that the best way to survive was to keep quiet, to stay under the radar, don't call attention to yourself. And so the way that showed up in my life is that I was very timid. I was very shy. I was afraid to show up. Literally, because I might get teased, right? I mean, there's a lot of chaos, right? When you have that many kids growing up. So what happened is I was so shy, even to the fact that I would cry in front of the class when I had to do a presentation. And yet when I was about 12, I was very, needing to do something and kind of feeling depressed and sad. I took up guitar. I started playing guitar. I had some mentors, luckily, who were there, and they helped teach me and encourage me to sing. And so I started singing. And people started saying, could you sing a little bit louder? That sounds really good. And I got encouragement, and I ended up becoming a professional singer.
Wow.
I remember the first time I stood in front of a large audience, like 100 folks. I was opening the act. It was a folk festival, and I was just shaking. I was so scared, but I did it. And, all along the way in my life, I found that you have to just do it. You can be afraid. It's okay. But the things that you love the most and the difference you want to make the most has to come from you overcoming your fear and doing what you need to do in the moment. And that's the basis of my program. I ended up years later going into psychology. I have a master's in clinical psychology. I became a licensed therapist and working with folks that have trauma, working with anxiety. I realized, oh yeah, this is exactly what I needed back then. I did it in a different way through performing, but I needed to learn how to quickly address my anxiety so that I could show up, so that I could be really fully there and present to make a difference. The other piece I forgot to tell you is I was influenced by the singers of the 60s, like Joan Baez and Bob Dylan, who became really a positive force for positive change. And that's really what I wanted to do. And so circle around to when I decided to become a coach, I just, you have to think about, well, what is it? What's my core genius, first of all? And then what is the difference that I want to make for people? And that's where I really decided to get into helping people overcome their fears. And I have the tools through my psychology. I also have the experience of having done it myself and really overcame incredible shyness and timidness and fear of showing up. So nowadays, with having to show up on camera, that's some of what I'm really focusing on these days.
Yeah, and I think that's so good that you highlighted that, because showing up for a lot of people is, it's different, right? It comes out differently in terms of whether it's camera shyness or talking in large groups. doing any kind of thing where you're out of your comfort zone. So I think that's something really we need to kind of look at, saying that's a struggle for most people, entrepreneurs. There's always this fear of whatever it is, right, that we're learning or doing. There's that challenge of getting up to that next spot. And so I love that you have the strategies and tools, of course, that you've practiced on yourself. But now that you're able to help others, tell me what makes you different than perhaps some other people that may be doing similar work to you. What makes you different?
Yes. Well, I think my performing background, number one, I believe that emotional expression is extremely important. To be able to verbalize or express through art or through music or through journaling, right? I know that in a lot of programs for entrepreneurs, they talk about journaling, but I'd like to expand that emotional expression, because as long as emotions are coming out of you, they won't mess with you as much, right? Like when the emotions are suppressed, when you kind of pretend or avoid them or procrastinate, a lot of those symptoms are because really they're suppressed emotions. And so that's one of the things that I think makes me different. The other one is I've also been in the healing arts as far as physical healing. I started doing yoga at the age of 14. I became a healing Tao instructor in my 20s, the ancient Taoist internal healing practices. And that's another thing I bring, because you cannot separate your body from your mind, from your emotions. They are all wrapped up together. And so in these techniques that I offer to help you really shift fear in the moment when it hits, it's a combo. It's a combo of some of my ancient practices, which help you become embodied, along with the psychology, which helps you shift your mindset, right? We all know, and we've heard a lot about, you are what you think. And I always say, don't believe everything you think. Because, right, if you believe everything you think, it often steers you the wrong way. And so I think the combo of that psychology background with my Eastern healing practices and my performance background really makes me unique.
That's amazing, because again, you're bringing in different things that you've accumulated in terms of your knowledge and your experience to shorten the learning curve for others who may be really struggling, correct?
Exactly.
So I want to talk about, like, who is your sort of, I don't want to say ideal client, because I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but who are you passionate about really working with and helping?
Thank you for asking. Yes, that's always a really important thing, right? To clarify when all you entrepreneurs out there, we know we have to find out who we want to work with, who we are passionate about. So for me, it's purpose-driven entrepreneurs, or you could say mission-driven entrepreneurs, or sometimes I call them visionaries. The folks that I work with often have big visions of the difference they want to make in the world. And I love that, because I'm in that category too, right? Even when I was 14, I wanted to make a difference like Joan Baez, right? And I think that all of us on some level do. And those are the folks, the ones that are really clear about wanting to make a positive change in the world, are the ones that I love to work with, because what I do is I help them get out of their own way, and in the process become, physically, emotionally, and mentally more healthy, feeling better about themselves, welcoming abundance, welcoming, prosperity, welcoming health and well-being, kind of in a holistic way. And I was thinking about this morning, of just how this entrepreneurial journey for me has been an incredible path of personal development. Even though I had done a lot of personal development before, I also see that. And so it's another reason why I would like to work with entrepreneurs, because they are ready and willing to do the work. They jump in, they're risk takers, they're visionaries, and those are the folks I like to work with.
Yeah, and that's amazing, because I think when you talk about, mission-oriented visionaries, people that are really conscious about the difference they want to make, I mean, this is needed more now than ever, in my opinion, of course, right? That we are in need of these types of leaders. And we need to almost that, when you work with a prosperity coach like yourself, is to really help them, like you said, get out of their own way to continue with the mission of what they want to do and how they want to impact the world. So I think it's such an important thing, because I feel almost now people are rising to that occasion, almost like we're being called to do something more, to talk about things that are tough, to really look within, right? To say, well, what do we believe about that? And how are we showing up? Right?
Exactly.
These are really big conversations, and there are entrepreneurs out there that are truly equipped with making the difference, but sometimes there's something blocking them to actually get going, right? So I love the fact that you can help them clear that path, and so that their
Yes.
work can be done faster and reach more people, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you totally got it, because I'm really into simple, effective techniques, things that don't take a long time. I'm also certified in neurolinguistic programming, which really helps shift on powerfully on an unconscious level, which sometimes, in one session, we kind of, clear out some of the cobwebs, let's say, that are left over, so you can really step into your power. The other thing that I want everyone to know today, and is that each one of you has everything you need inside of you. You have all the resources. You just need to learn how to cultivate them, access them, and really recognize them in those moments that are tough. And when you really know that on a deep level, you can overcome any obstacle.
And that, again, I just love it. And I'm hoping that people that are watching or even on replay get the nugget of that everything is within you. Like, for all of us, it's not, there's a lot of people that can compare, right, your life to someone else's on social media, like, oh, I can't do that, or I'm, whatever those beliefs are. But really, when you can come to that knowledge and that true awareness that it exists within you, and your gifts are your own, and that you can cultivate them and access them in ways, and when you can actually do that and have the result, then I believe that it kind of empowers them, right, to kind of do even more, because now they've tapped into something perhaps more powerful than they've ever reached before.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I love that you help people get to that point faster and effectively, right? Like, because sometimes it's like, well, it could be done for others, and maybe some people would say, well, yeah, but I've tried this and it hasn't worked, or whatever those experiences are. But when you've got the level of knowledge, experience, and certifications that you come with, you can really kind of find out what the client needs, or for their perspective or their own situation. I'm thinking this is individual work that you do with them, correct? Like, it's one-on-one?
I do have a class coming up, a course about video visibility. So
Okay.
using everything we've been talking about to show up strong online in video, either in lives or on Zoom or however it is. So I do have a course coming up. It's super, super exciting, using these courses. I mean, using these, tips and techniques. And the other thing I wanted to let everybody know, that I also have a 6 steps from going from anxious to confident, which is something I'm just offering out. I've been offering it a lot in the Facebook world. So if you want to find me and message me, I'd be happy to share that with you. It's again a combo of the Healing Tao practices with shifting your mindset, to really, and shift your emotional state, which is very much a neurolinguistic programming thing, where to be able to shift your state when you need it. And so that's something I'm offering. I do work with folks individually. I have limited spaces for that, but because I really love to teach and train, so my focus is really on my courses right now, and I absolutely love it. I create a community also of support, because the more we can connect and support each other, the more we are uplifted in these tough times. So that's why I'm focusing really on my training courses, which you get a lot of personal development out of them, as well as practical, just practical things like right now, next month is going to be on video visibility, and how to show up strong, how to use your voice in a way that will attract people, what people want to know more. So yeah, that's my focus right now, is this course coming up. And of course I I have limited spaces, but for individual coaching clients as well.
Right. And I love that, because I think like, even when you're doing courses and group work, like where people are coming together and you're building that community, people don't feel alone then. Like, it's not like, oh my God, I'm the only one going through this. And when you're around other people and you can be around that kind of energy where you're lifting each other up and helping, you really do get empowered, right? Because you're not alone. We're not alone in any of this. I mean, we can definitely gain the, I don't want to say knowledge, but I just see that empowering state of being when we're around others. So I love the fact that you're doing these courses and having people go through it and make connections, even through community. So with your program that's coming up, is it something that they, like, if somebody wanted to find out more, would it be on your website, or where would it be where they can get more information?
Actually, right now, you could go onto my website and do a phone consultation with me, just a quick, and I can tell you how to access it. I don't have the link up connected yet to my website.
Okay.
But again, if you find me on Facebook, so either schedule or DM me, just message me and say, hey, I want to learn more about that course. And but you can, like I said, go ahead on my website, schedule a short call with me, and I can give you more information and email you the synopsis of the course and such. And yeah, I'm really happy and excited to share both of those things, right? My steps to you all, to really get confident in whatever it is you want to do, whatever you wish.
That's amazing. The fact that you're sharing resources and things that people could use right away. I want to talk about a pre-show. We talked about this, is entrepreneurs and COVID. And obviously things have shifted and some things have shown up. What or what would you say to somebody that's kind of in that entrepreneurial world and now COVID has hit and it's like the challenges are showing up? What would you say to them in terms of just looking at it maybe from a different perspective, or how can they sort of get past, maybe there's a struggle or a blockage that's come up?
Absolutely. In fact, I've been talking to a lot of people, and some people are feeling, they're starting to lose hope. And as we know, we hear a lot, right? Hope is the last thing. You've got to have hope. And what I would say is that getting present and really giving yourself some reality checks. Because I think what happens too often is we're getting bombarded by information all the time. And it can be confusing. It can throw us off balance. It can literally cause fear when we hear some of these things. And I think, it's important to acknowledge that the media is often, telling us the problems, more than they are. Sometimes you can get programs that try to give hope, right? And I would recommend looking for those programs, looking for the things that will inspire you and help you to believe in your own ability. This is another piece. You have to remind yourself that you have power inside of you and that you will be able to face whatever it is that comes your way. And the way you're going to face that is by being embodied, by accessing the resources and the strengths and your abilities. Each one of us has strengths. And we also have weaknesses, but focus on your strengths. Think about what it is that you do really well. And remember that, oh, wow, in difficult times, I can access that. And I can reach out to others. That's the other thing, a strength-based community, right? Where okay, this is my strength, but I know someone else who has this strength, right? And reach out to people and connect. That's the other thing, stay connected. And there was something I wanted to mention what you were talking about before. When I first decided to really focus my coaching program on overcoming fears, I interviewed, 30 women or more, and they all said they were so grateful. My first course was literally for women entrepreneurs to overcome fear. And they were on all levels. Some of them were pretty high-powered entrepreneurs. Some of them were just starting out, but they all had something in common. And that is they didn't have a place to talk about the fact that they did feel afraid. Too often everybody says, feel your fear and just do it anyway, which yes, we do have to do that. But where do we have a place to process and to say, like you were talking about earlier, that I'm not alone. It's okay to feel fear. That's another one of my really big messages. Fear is just a natural emotional response, right? Sadness, anger, joy, happiness, fear. It's another emotional response, and it's there to protect us. But we have to check it, right? We have to learn techniques to check, to be like, oh, is there any real danger here? No, actually, when you get physically present, right, you get embodied, you check your thoughts, you check your emotions, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Let me breathe, let me get present, let me access my resources. I'm okay. Let's make a plan. What can I do? And suddenly you go from being anxious to empowered. So I think I might have gone off topic, but I wanted to
No,
mention that.
no, I think that's so good that you brought that up, right? Is that connection of what you're feeling, perhaps that fear in this very moment, and then how you can quickly take checks and balances of that fear, right? And then look within and see, like, you know what, it's not what I'm fearing, or wherever it is that you have an empowered state of being once you access what's within you, and you can look at it from a different perspective when you take a step back, breathe, and then evaluate the situation. And you can almost, at that point, change that emotion. Perhaps it's not going to go from fear to joy, but it will diminish a lot of that sort of flight, or, you know, that, what is it called? Fight or flight, right?
Exactly.
Just totally getting to a point of no return almost, right? So I love the fact that you're giving such simple, like, strategies, even here on our call today, is just how do you tap into that? And I love the fact that you're sharing it. And for those of you who are watching, I mean, if you're feeling these kinds of emotions, or things are coming up as you are going down this entrepreneur journey, we're in the last quarter of 2020, planning for 2021, this may be a really good point of connecting with a person like you, Sara, that, you know, can actually clear the way for 21 to be perhaps starting out differently, better, in a more empowered state. So I do really encourage people to reach out to you, because I think this may be something that can really help them supercharge what's going to come up for them in their businesses for the next year. So let's talk just a little bit about your program that's coming up, but who would be really good for it? Like, for those that are, what are they struggling with that would really, this course would help them?
All right. Yes. So if you are, let's put it this way, you know, you need to do videos online and you've been putting it off. That's one. I have a lot of folks already signed up, and some of them are, you know, really successful entrepreneurs, but they haven't pivoted yet. They know they need to do it. They're even comfortable on camera, but they aren't doing it. So this is going to be a jump start. We're going to make 4 videos every week related to your business. So you can use these videos to promote your business online. It's a jump start. So the other thing about that is that you're going to get in the habit of doing it. Because back to, sometimes you just have to do it, right? And so, you know, we can, if it's something new, we don't have that habit, we're not doing it. So it's really good for folks like that, to help you get into the habit of doing it. The other thing it's going to be really good for are folks that do have an actual apprehension of being on camera, who have not done it because they're afraid, they're uncomfortable, they don't like seeing, they don't like hearing themselves. And they, you know, as we all know, we need to do videos. We need to get on. We need to feel comfortable and confident on camera. It's just the reality nowadays. So it's really good for both of those, for folks that you'll get a chance, let's put it this way, get a chance to practice. We're going to have a private Facebook group where you'll be posting the videos we're making. You'll get feedback and support. And we're going to learn from each other. So the folks that are more comfortable on camera, you know, will post their videos, as well as the folks that are new, and they can watch and listen and learn from the others. So it's going to be a very supportive environment. So either way, wherever you are in that trajectory, you can get benefit, and a lot of personal growth too. Like I said, you know, having been a performer and having been in front of folks, and you know, having that experience really helps you develop the strength and confidence to do more of it and show up more.
That's amazing. And I think, you know what, you're right. Like, people, you know, it's an online world, right? Like, we've been in an online world, but now more than ever, everyone is pivoting and shifting to being more visible, since we can't generally now meet in public, or, you know, the events that perhaps people were doing, or networking, the different types of networking that was going on live is now, you know, going online. And there has to be a way for people to pivot. And for some, it's not the strength, right? It's not their strength to be in front of a large group in camera way, or recordings or videos. So I love that you're bringing this forward for those that are struggling, that could be really really in a safe world, practice with each other, get really good feedback so that when they do go out in the world, there's confidence that's there, that they know that, you know what, this is perfect, this is good. So I'm really glad that you're bringing that forward for the entrepreneurs. I want to thank you. I mean, we're almost at the end here, and I can't believe how quickly our time has gone, but thank you so much. It's been such a good connection that we've made, and I'm so blessed to have met you. And I hope that, as you go through that course, that maybe I'd like to invite you back and sort of, as you're launching some other things to help entrepreneurs, I'd love to have you back on the show.
Oh, thank you so much. I'd love to be here. I love what you're doing, Nasira.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay.
So that was Sara. Now, how beautiful is this person who is doing things to help entrepreneurs really get out of their own way? Yes, there's fear. We all know that, we all struggle with this, depending on wherever we are in our businesses. But when we meet people that can actually help us shorten our learning curves, be in a community of safe, people where you can be empowered, is somewhere where we all need to be and find that community that you really resonate with. So today, I want to encourage you to do that. I want to encourage you to reach out to Sara, whether it's on Facebook, private message, or through her website. Schedule a quick call. See if this course might be the right one for you. And if you have any other questions, obviously you can always message me, or you can put the comment in this video thread. I want to wish you all a wonderful, happy, successful, graceful day, and remember to be kind to yourself and others. I will see you again tomorrow.